Hello, YouTubers. How are we? Happy Monday evening. Hello, Nick. How you doing? Yes, I'm on my own in a minute. Don't worry. Suji's on the case. This is me seeing Bournemouth team for the first time. Yeah, not holding too much hope of them doing Arsenal here. How are they lining up? A strong Eddie Nketiah gets the start. Hello, Mac. Hello, Andrew. Shamil, what do you mean you can't see anything? Lads, can we see anything? At the moment, I'm on my Todd because Suji's in a meeting. So, you know what it's like for me trying to set shit up. Thank you, Mac. Thank you, Andrew. Thank you, Nick. It's just you, Sham. It's just you that can't see me, mate. Sham, I'll see you Thursday for a beer and football quiz night, mate. Yeah, Sham, it's just you, mate. No one else having any problems, mate. Hello, Dominic. How you doing? Hello, Phil. Hey, James, is there any seats left in the car up to Manny? You'd have to ask at 3-5 who. But we are selling the fourth space, highest bidder. That's standard, mate. We need to make some money off this live show, you know? Phil, where's the quiz on Thursday? You have to ask Sham. I did tweet it out. It was an open offer to anybody, but it's just the four of us. It's all booked now, I'm afraid. Unfortunately, he's in London. Hello, Paul. How you doing? What's happening, mate? For those joining in, Suj is stuck in a meeting at the moment. He will be joining us shortly. Hopefully, he sorts out the dodgy stream I'm looking at for Bournemouth v Arsenal because it keeps flickering. Sujan Shah. Hi, James. Where is your sexy co-host? I don't know, mate. Get your ass out of that meeting and get in here. Cheers, Jack. Yeah, these are great, by the way. Fan. Started drinking them about a month or two ago when we did the main pods on Monday. There's an offer. He's a petrol station near where we work. It's not many two places to go and get drinks. And they do little boxes of them for about £6. Blinding little beer that is, actually. Hello, Chris. How you doing? Andrew, got the odds on tonight, James. Wink, wink. The odds, I don't know, Andrew. Fill me in, pal. Dominic, more concerned about Bournemouth v Villa. Yeah, I can understand that as a Bournemouth fan, mate. No prizes for guessing who I want to win this. It was interesting watching the cup draw just now and seeing 4 teams left in and Spurs and Arsenal both being in. Now, I'm not going to lie, I didn't want to draw them, mate. I didn't want to get hold of them at all, mate. As much as they could have their shocking day, I'm not too confident about playing big sides at the moment. We will talk when Suj comes in a little bit more about implications of 5th round draw. But if Spurs do beat Southampton, obviously I can't complain with Norwich at home. It's certainly interesting the way all the big clubs, sorry Everton fans, have completely missed each other so far through this draw. And you can even ask with Chelsea and Liverpool with the way, I mean, are Liverpool even going to beat Shrewsbury? Are they going to be bothered to put a team out? You suspect Shrewsbury might even give them a tougher game than Everton did. And I think what you're looking at there with that Liverpool replay is we're not talking about, oh, he's going to dip a Milner in or something. Like, literally, I think he will go with it with no one he even considers part of the squad. So there'll be kids who are getting near the bench for at the moment for Liverpool, who I think won't even be involved in that Shrewsbury game. We're going to talk winter break a little bit later on the stream as well when Suj is back. But should they beat Shrewsbury, I mean, Chelsea away, can't see it really. You'd think Liverpool will go out, and it opens up implications certainly for blank game week 31 that I want to talk about. Good evening, Patrick. How you doing? Yeah, Andrew. Yeah, tasty quarterfinals. You're not wrong. It could be one hell of a hell of a lineup. I mean, looking at it now on paper, game week 31 might be 3 fixtures. Really could be. And I think like it really opens up possibilities for looking at something different. Nick, really enjoyed the gambling pod. You two just relieved. Thanks for the puzzle. Really pleased, man, that you guys voted for something good, for a change, because that doesn't always happen. And I realise a lot of people vote who probably don't even listen to us half the time. But yeah, it was something I was keen to speak about, having had a background in the gambling industry for a long time. So yeah, catch up on the People's Poll pod from this morning. I think I listened back to it myself because I do like the sound of my own voice. Suj not so much. And yeah, I think it come out quite well actually. I did a little bit of planning for it last night, and it's very rare that I look into even the FPL pods. It's very rare I look into anything before the podcast. Jack, anyone going to Manchester live show on the bill? Is it easy to mingle, James? Nah, the FPL community is full of wankers, mate. So, like, you know, if you don't know anyone, I wouldn't come. Anybody who's ever come to any of these events has gone away and gone, wish we'd done something like this earlier, or wish I'd come last time. Like 99, there'll be dickheads there. I'm not going to pretend differently, but 99% of people are absolutely brilliant. We all share something in common, right? And that's passion for the game. And for the majority of us, if you follow us, probably a major passion for your football team. Football's a global language, so you just start talking football and it's all right. It's not like the awkwardness of trying to chat someone out on a night out and not knowing whether you got anything in common or not. You're both two people who don't know each other. You're there because you're there for football in the first instance, or because you enjoy the pod. So there's something instantly to start a conversation on. Be no issues. Come on your own. The first live show, the majority of people who come, who weren't sort of like content creators or that, came on their own and really enjoyed it, I think. And many came back for the second show as well. So yeah, listen, for us to be doing Manchester, Suj was really passionate about doing it. We're losing. We're going to lose money on it. But I think we're looking at it now and going, do you know what a thing to do to come out of our comfort zone and say, yeah, let's do a weekend in Manchester. It would be great. I don't think we'll be making Tyson Fury and Deontay Wilder at 4 o'clock in the morning. The Spurs playing at 12:30. So I'll be pissed by the time we start podding as well. Shut him down. Nice in. Fuck them. It's no surprise, is it? I mean, Bournemouth, even when they've been comfortable mid-table, have always been a side that played understrength sides in the cup, and they're not that understrength tonight actually. And obviously Arsenal rested a few, but since they come up to the Premier League, they've never done a lot in this competition. Andrew won't make it live, unfortunately. Manchester just too far. Yeah, mate. Listen, you get yourself ready for being Leeds correspondent next year, pal. Mac, that would be crazy with only a few fixtures. I presume you're referring to what I said about blank game week 31. Chris, was difficult for people to vote for a bad option. All 4 argue great. Chris, I love you, mate. I feel like you're our biggest fan. Like, props, pal. Andy's saying on live shows, the Jags, brilliant. Met some class guys. You will, absolutely. And for us as well, doing it in Manchester, we're going to meet a lot of people that we haven't met, for sure. H Bala 11, Gambling Pod was awesome today, James. Tell Jack you'll have a wicked time to meet up. Wish I could be there. I don't know what your excuse is. Get there anyway, mate. If you do want to get tickets to the live show, I hate the promotion thing, but we have to for this one. There's a link in my bio. You can get the tickets. The tickets are cheaper if you buy before the end of Friday. So January 31st is Friday. Then they go up from £7.50 to £9. We don't really want to be charging that much. It's just to cover a bit of our costs on petrol, hotel equipment, and that basically. They go up a bit. The Eventbrite, who the setting is for the tickets, they charge a fee for the setup. It is what it is, £1.20 or something. I don't know. Dominic, Manchester, a great place. Yeah, I'm going to share that opinion for you at least until after February the 22nd anyway. FPL Badger, Spurs are on their way to Wembley. Good man, Mark. Nice. He's on Clash of the Correspondents. which we're recording early tomorrow morning for release on Thursday. Obviously, Norwich just joined us away in the cup. The thing is that we got to deal with Southampton first anyway. But yeah, no complaints on the tie, and I would be surprised if Norwich even played the likes of Pookie, particularly in that fixture. But they'll come and give us a football match. And sometimes you get with teams like Norwich in this stage of the cup, pressure's off, bit of freedom from feeling like in the league you have to win every time. Get a fixture like, probably none of us, not many would have expected them to go and win at Burnley at the weekend. You just have a little bit of freedom, even with rotated players. And there's no pressure. You go out. And they're obviously a side, Norwich, that want to play football in any case. So I wouldn't rule them out. I certainly won't take them for granted. Jack, going to book my ticket. That's right, mate. Jamie Roberts, only true Planet FPL fans travel the country. Away days. Yeah, I suppose it is a proper away day. Yeah, we can't wait for it. Brian Newell, what's on your rider for Manchester? Cider. Patrick Lawson, still waiting for Planet FPL Live in Ireland. Calm down, Patrick, mate. Right, one step at a time for the tour. I appreciate it. We think Andy might be coming over. Let's talk FPL. Andy's actually bought a ticket, but doesn't know if he can come yet, which is so typical of Andy. FPL Chancellor Dan, how are you, mate? Bournemouth run for an absolute hiding here. Happy enough with Spurs draw, although not convinced we'll get past Saints. Yeah, I can't disagree with any of that. Your boy Saka there, just watching the replay of the goal, who's playing left back for him, he's doing pretty well. In fact, he's not a fullback at all. He's a wide player. You probably remember from the autumn time when he first broke into the team, and he's covering fine there at the moment. Dominic, what? Bournemouth 1-0 down already? Yes, mate. Nasu, what's your plans with Vardy? It's a good question. So, yeah, Jamie Vardy owner. I've been an owner since the day of pre-9-0 win at Southampton. Didn't captain him, obviously. No consideration to sell. The news today would appear to be hold that for Ambo! I know it's hit him in the face, but I'm allowed because I hate them. I've no faults to sell Jamie Vardy. It's not so much what a lot of people will be in a position of, like, you're tied into value. And I'm in that position, having bought a 9-1, was in 9-9 now. So I'm not so fussed about that. More the issue for me is I've got other issues. I have no idea FPL-wise what I'll be doing this week, but, I'm carrying Mane at the moment. I bought in Mason Greenwood before Burnley, assumed he'd play. I thought it was a good punt. Looks like it's not going to work out. I got 3.2 in the bank. I've got the money basically if I want to go to Jimenez. I kind of want to get off Rico Kelly and come a little bit cheaper. So no major decision. Jamie Vardy's not my biggest problem. Like, if Jamie Vardy is fit, we know the fixtures historically don't particularly matter. Like Chelsea are the first of 3 difficult fixtures for Leicester. Like, Chelsea ain't going to put fear into Jamie Vardy at all. So not a major concern. The Wolves one the week after be an interesting one because of how Wolves really want to sit behind the ball when they're playing sides who I think they would consider of equal or better standing. And at the moment, obviously, Leicester are. I saw a really interesting stat on Wolves the other day that if you broke the league table down into just the first half of matches so far this season, they've actually got the worst record of all 20 teams. If you look at them just second half of games, they've only lost 145 second half minutes, which it wouldn't be the best in the record, but no side has lost fewer second halves. Liverpool have lost 3 second halves this season, for example. And I think a lot of that is like stay in the game. And obviously now with Adama Traore, use that pace late in games. And the way they come at you, having myself and Ricky Saunders went up to Molineux in December when Spurs won there, and we're fortunate to do so. Once they get up ahead of steam, as you've seen again in the Liverpool game last Thursday, like they really do come at you. I'm not sure if I want to add Jimenez to Traore. I left him on the bench against Liverpool. What do you do? That's with the news that Danny Ings wasn't going to play. I don't profess to be an expert. The man who normally sits next to me certainly wouldn't either. Andrew says Arsenal blanking game week 28 and game week 31. Will they double win 34? Only, Andrew, if they lose an FA Cup quarter-final. Now, Arsenal may find, and this will probably hurt Andrew a bit, that Portsmouth away might be a more difficult tie for Arsenal than actually what this may prove tonight, just because what the atmosphere can be like there at Fratton Park. Obviously, it's important to say all the fifth round fixtures will be midweek matches as well. So, you know, you're likely to perhaps even get more rotation than what you'd see, say, with Arsenal, who have had a 6-day break from the fixture against Chelsea last week, and then obviously don't play again until another 6 days against Burnley. So there was no real reason for Arsenal not to go very strong tonight. With that, if it's Portsmouth, if Arsenal get through, they might actually change more. Don't forget, by that time, Europa League's going to be restarted. So Arsenal might actually find more difficulties in playing Portsmouth in round 5. The only way you can get a game week 34 double, at the moment, is essentially if you have a blank game week 28 or blank game week 31 and you don't make the FA Cup semi-finals. That's really important to say, because the midweek fixtures for game week 34 are the midweek straight after the FA Cup semi-finals. Because any team in the FA Cup semi-final physically cannot double game week in game week 34, which is why I'd highlighted with Arsenal, and obviously particularly for Manchester City, in a thread I did around about the third round of the Cup and after the first legs of the League Cup semi-finals, that a treble game week in 37 does, although very unlikely, and it needs a super set of circumstances to happen, remains a possibility should City or Arsenal progress well in Europe and progress really deep into the FA Cup as well. There is a scenario where Manchester City and Arsenal could be played in game week 29 as double. And that's if Arsenal lose to Olympiacos in the last 32 of the Europa League, because the Champions League is the last 16 spread over 4 weeks. Technically, Arsenal and City would have a completely free midweek there where the fixture could go into. And one of the issues with it being City Arsenal is the TV companies will want to show it. So, but if that's what it comes to, I think to get to game week 28, City and Arsenal were both in Cup quarterfinals and City are progressing in the Champions League, they really will strongly have to look at City and Arsenal in game week 29 as a possibility. Obviously, for that to happen, both teams have got blank in game week 28 as well. So how you go from the blank players to a double suddenly in game week 29 would be interesting to see how people manage it. Obviously, you like to De Bruyne or Aubameyang, whoever you own there, I guess you would just leave them on the bench for a week. It's interesting that a lot of people looking at wildcarding at the moment seem to be really considering people like Aguero or Aubameyang. And as we've seen from this weekend, the likelihood of them having upcoming blanks is increasing strongly. Dom says, do you think it's crazy to play wildcard this week? Vardy, Mane, gone for me. No, listen, nothing's crazy. Nothing's crazy. I'm not going to sit here. One of the things I've professed, we're not going to look at chip strategy in the detail we did last year because there's far limited options. Last year, when we did the really kind of popular pod in February, early February, about chip strategies, or late January, was there were so many different ways that you could take it with your chunky chips, your skinny chips, your French fries, whatever. This year, there's not. Essentially, your options now is free hit 31 or free hit 34. And nearly everybody is still going to probably remain 31 because it's been the long-held advice. And, of course, when 31 starts, you're not going to know how 34 sits. I think, and we talk about it when Suj comes back, that there is a possibility that 34 free hit could become really interesting, actually. And it does surround a lot around my thoughts on Liverpool. Josh Riddle, where's Suj at? Good question, mate. Suj went on a call a business call at 7:30 and said to me he might not be able to make 8 o'clock. It's interesting that he's here and the stream hasn't died, because normally his setup, everything goes wrong. By the way, if you like this, do tell me, because I am thinking of doing regular YouTube videos on Fridays by myself, possibly with my son. Suj could be back any minute. I presume he's still stuck on this call or in the bathroom watching porn, whatever. Jay, he got replaced with Casper Schmeichel. Brian Newell, should they get rid of cup replays and second legs in the League Cup semi-final? Brilliant question, Brian. He was basically losing on the people's poll. My opinion is yes. This should all get scrapped, and it's really controversial. And I want to explain my reasons for why, and I kind of want to bounce out of Suj when he's back. And he says, so tough to fit at Arsenal City fixture in game week 28. City and Arsenal should progress in the comps they're in. Yeah, and that's why I made game week 29 could open up as a possibility as a double there. Dave Pimpernel, great cup draw in my opinion, because assuming Liv go out in free hit, not a no-brainer. Yeah, spot on, mate. Something is potentially going to open up. And we should, I say obviously you won't have the 34 information before 31, but we will have the 31 information. And then we can make, there's no need to make a decision till the FA Cup 5th round's done and dusted in terms of how you want to play that. Nice reverse ball, that. But yeah, my immediate thoughts are, I'm just thinking back to obviously the Liverpool 5-0 against Watford the other year when there was only 4 game week 31 fixtures. And essentially, it didn't really matter. If you captain Salah, you were all right. Because obviously you got the 4 goals and the assists in that 5-0 against Watford. And all the other, like, I think Bournemouth lost at home to Palace, if I remember right. Everton won at Stoke, and Huddersfield played somebody, I forget. Forgive me. He's done well there, Willock. Oh, that'll be in. No, cleared. And it could be in a position where, I mean, all of us have got free Liverpool at the moment, even if we're carrying an injured Sadio Mane, for example. And you do start to wonder, well, if Liverpool are definitely going to blank in game week 31, what am I free hitting into? Would I be free hitting into the same 3 Liverpool players and crap? And therefore, there's a debate that was going through my head as soon as I seen that draw to even think, is it okay just to go 5 or 6 players in game week 31 and suffer it as a loss, but the potential for a real gain a couple of weeks afterwards? If there are, the last time game week 34 was a double in the same as the FA Cup semi-final, there was 1 team completely blanked, and there were 3 teams that had doubles. So you could free hit 9 double game week players. Now, it might be that those with doubles are shit. I think it was the 3 teams were Middlesbrough, Crystal Palace. I remember I captained Christian Benteke, who scored twice at Anfield on a Sunday, and Manchester United, which one of their 2 fixtures was away to Manchester City. So it didn't turn out great. But I don't know, if you go game week 31 with 5 or 6 players, and you're kind of looking at that as worst case scenario. And then suddenly you could go into game week 34 with the potential of 18 plus 2, 20 games essentially. So you're 9 times 2 plus another 2 players. Isn't that where the advantage is, rather than what we're all using game week 31 for was a shield? So the whole concept is going to game week 34 as a free hit really only becomes viable, I think, if Liverpool go out of the FA Cup, which is looking. It's hard to see them losing games of football at the moment, but it's becoming an increasing possibility, I would say. Phil, your chip pod last year was one of the best FPL podcasts of last season. Thank you, Phil. Yeah, it was. I worked on it. Jamie Ross, massive yes to the YouTube idea. Thank you, Jamie. Frank Sherman, Phil, that was the first one I heard. Been listening ever since. Thank you, Frank. Patrick Lawson, let's all take guesses on when Suj will arrive. I think I can hear him. So if you're running a sweepstake, nice shot. Frank's gone 8.31. Patrick's gone 8.29. I make it 8.22 currently at the moment. Andy Martin, I'm still thinking I could dead end 31 if Liverpool don't play in 31. Wildcard 32, bench boost 37, and free hit 38. So that's nice to hear, like an alternative strategy. Free hit 38 is interesting as part of that idea, because Obviously, 37 is going to be the main double. There's no doubt about it. Are you going to want to be left with a lot of those players that then playing 38? Interesting prospect. Now, I don't hate that as an idea. I wouldn't. There isn't a single strategy that I would say don't do that right now. Other than if someone's out, I'm going to free hit this weekend, I'd be like, well, what are you doing? You're gonna need to manoeuvre something somehow. I guess with Liverpool, it could manoeuvre the idea essentially that, well, if you can carry through 31, you're not going to lose too much on free hitters. And then do you even need 34? 34 now, potentially, with no idea of doubles, might even look to some Sadio Mane owners. It could have been a good triple captain. But it's the draws really opened up a few things, which is interesting. Alex Perry, what's your opinion of Klopp refusing to play the first team against Shrewsbury? Or is it a fair response against the FA not properly implementing the winter break? Good question. We are going to cover winter break if Suj ever decides to join us. They've absolutely clusterfucked the winter break massively. Don't go on arrange friendlies. Everybody's having a guaranteed 14 days off. As soon as they scheduled Wolves and Leicester for Friday night, the second week, I was like, hang on a minute. Well, that's not 14 days off straight away. It's 13 days for Wolves and Leicester. And what did they think they were going to get in a position where there weren't going to be any FA Cup fourth round replays? And again, it's something else we'll discuss, replays. They've just clusterfucked it. All they need to do is, at the end of May, get me and Ben Crellin in a room together, give us 2 or 3 hours, and I'll tell you we'll fix it together. Dominic's going 2022. Might have been because of what I said. It's now 2024. You have lost. Brian Yule, I've had 9 blanks this week. So 5 or 6 returns in game week 31 might be fine. Yeah, exactly. Well, I mean, if Liverpool blank as well, I think they're home to Palace. I need to check. I can't at the moment. But we'd all be capped. If Liverpool blank in game week 31, we'll captain them again, aren't we? So what's the major loss? That's what we need to start thinking about. Claters, I reckon Arsenal and Bournemouth will play in the blank because they won't be getting past us at Fratton Park. Claters, hopefully you get Arsenal. Well, hopefully you get Bournemouth. But if you get Arsenal, make sure it's see you laters. Yeah, get rid of them. I'd love to see you bin them. That'd be great. Fratton Park quarter final. I'm getting ahead of myself now. I like going down south. Andy Martin, get all the team news game week 38. You may and you may not. Oh, here he is. Here he is, the pod partner.
Sexy's back.
Hello, mate. Come on, I've been holding this together for 25 minutes, mate. This is the best live. This is the best live stream.
Who scored?
Who cares? Some prick. Saka scored.
Bakary Saka, is it all right?
I've not been watching a lot of it because I've been dealing with YouTube
questions, right?
This is the best live stream we've done so far.
Because I've not been here.
Basically, yeah. Don't worry, I'm up in the comments. You watch 2 minutes of football. Say hello to everybody.
Here we go.
Have a look at the WhatsApp I sent you with agenda. Yeah, exactly.
What are we up to?
How was your call?
Good, actually.
Yeah,
got through everything we need to. Someone's worked 24/7. No rest for the wicked.
In fairness, he does.
Right, the 5th round.
Yeah, 2-0. It is as well. Some catcher.
Yeah, I'm glad he's in the starting team. Nketiah.
Fuck him as well.
You don't like Gooners, but he's all right, Eddie Nketiah.
Dominic, I'm bench boosting in 26. Then we'll concentrate on 11 players and 4 cheapies from now on. Dominic, you know I said like I'm not against anything. I'm against that. FBO Chancellor, Arsenal's tempo is so much higher under Arteta. If Alba is still at the club, I really like him as a punt for game 25 and onwards. He'll be after Golden Boot and great fixtures. Can't argue that, Dan. Hopefully he fucks off to Barcelona.
Yeah, the problem with Aubameyang is that everybody on that tip now, everybody's talking about Vardy to Aubameyang. And I'm wary of it.
While you were here, and if you want to piss off and watch the first 25 minutes again,
yeah,
just talked about holding Jamie Vardy.
Yeah, I'm keeping him.
Well, I presume you joined in the chat. I assumed you were.
No, I just logged in to make a comment and disappeared. Eddie Nketiah, man. How he didn't get more minutes for Leeds, I'll never know. Because they were struggling for goals, weren't they?
Bamford, Andy.
Hi, Dominic.
Andy's on his leads. Andy, tell us, mate.
VAR.
Look, Arsenal just scored, and I'm tutting. Where is the offside?
His foot is.
He doesn't even play it to Martinelli anyway.
This is garbage. Garbage.
And the same shit, right? So the shit seat at Southampton.
You're behind the goal.
Did Martinelli touch it?
Don't think so. You're behind the goal, right? That's Southampton.
Yeah, I just want to see what they're doing with this. These fuckers are so laughable. Look what they brought me to, disallowing an Arsenal goal, and I'm like, let's play football.
This is stupid. This is stupid. This is stupid. How can you see whether his knee is over his foot?
You're going to give it as onside anyway.
This is stupid.
Did I miss it? Did Martinelli touch the ball?
This is stupid.
Fucking hell, these dickheads. So, Sun scores on Saturday.
Yeah.
And I'm behind the goal and I'm really low. The regular listener and I don't like that perspective of the game. You can't tell nothing tactically and things like offside when you're behind the goal and low. You've got absolutely no chance. But the way it happened with Lamella playing it wide to Son, I was absolutely convinced there was no offside. It'd be 3-0 up. He's a greedy shit, that Pepe. I was convinced it wasn't offside. As I've later seen in the evening, he was fractionally onside. I did see the clash in the middle of the pitch with Dele Alli and the Southampton defender. And I was conscious of that, but didn't think it would be a problem.
Yeah.
So Son scores. It's away from home, in the cup, 1-0 up, go a bit potty. I'm on the edge of the concourse, right? So there's no one on my left, it's just the steps. So I'm thinking, I'm going to go for it here, and I'm going to fucking make a bolt for it down the front. Mate, there was about 20 people behind me had the idea long before I did. I wasn't going anywhere.
Oh, man.
So that was cool. Stuck there, celebrating. It's all good. Good 30 seconds goes by.
VAR.
Checking offside. Okay. I'm thinking, oh shit, I was pretty sure he was on, but no, if he's off, he's off. And then like straight away afterwards, it come up checking foul. Oh my god, it was about a minute and a half, mate. Checking absolutely bugger all, mate. Whole crowd singing it's not football anymore. Anyway, VAR, different discussion for another day.
It is. Have you been answering lots of questions?
Basically everybody.
Give me a question that you couldn't answer that was aimed at me, or has there been none because my seat was blank?
There was a few that asked where the prick is. And I defended you and stuff.
In between the legs is where my prick is. Yeah.
All right.
Halfway down my body. Will it?
Okay, mate.
Yeah.
Let's come back to the chat. Should we talk about a few of the things we popped in
so
agenda?
Did you predict the teams, or are we just skipping the Bournemouth Arsenal?
I mean,
prediction of
Bournemouth Arsenal's done, isn't it?
There's no game now.
Bournemouth aren't interested.
No.
We do tend to pick up games that are shit, but it has to work out for us in terms of timing, and it has anyway because we've got this FA Cup draw.
So
we have to work about
the draw, the 5th round draw. Yeah. Let's talk about it.
So, So, for clarity, the draw. The Manchester City are at Sheffield Wednesday. Sheffield United are away to Reading or Cardiff. Replay to be played at Cardiff.
Yeah.
By the way, if you haven't seen Sol Bamba's miss from the weekend at the Medeski, that is well worth a look. Any normal human being would kick the thing in the goal. He tries to head it and hits it wide. Chelsea at home to Liverpool or Shrewsbury.
You're going to predict Liverpool for that, surely?
What, to beat Shrewsbury?
Yeah.
Well, I'm just saying I'm not even sure to beat Shrewsbury, mate.
I think they will.
We'll talk about it a bit. Newcastle's reward, should they win at Oxford in the 4th round replay, will be a trip to Championship High Flyers West Bromwich Albion. Far from easy.
No, they were tough, big physical, good side. Anybody that wants to know about West Ham, West Brom, tomorrow, Tottenham. Pre-recorded, ready to go.
Very good draw for Leicester, home to Coventry or Birmingham.
Yeah.
Very good draw for Manchester United, Northampton or Derby away.
Ray Rooney's going to come back and sort that out.
Of course, Rooney against
The return of Rooney.
Well, they've had all that when he played for Everton anyway.
Yeah.
Southampton or Tottenham against Norwich, and Arsenal will travel to Portsmouth. All the big sides missing each other again. You can say Chelsea and Liverpool, obviously. What we've been debating, Suj, is the idea that obviously if Liverpool don't get to the quarterfinal, they're available in game week 31. Would you be so kind, Suj, as you're sitting next to me, to pull up the game week 31 FPL fixtures?
Yes, as it stands.
I believe Liverpool are scheduled to be at home to Crystal Palace, who are already out. We know that Burnley and Watford is on.
Yeah.
They're both out of the cup. And I think we can now safely say that Wolves against Bournemouth in game week 31 will also now go ahead. I'm sure it's Wolves against Bournemouth. You will confirm for me in a moment.
Fixtures. Game week 31. Still quite a way away. Spurs West Ham, Friday night.
So, I mean, the first thing we need to do right now in the first thing is look at these and go, right, what's likely to be on, what's likely to be
Spurs West Ham, Friday night.
Off.
Definitely.
Well, so you're out. You won't need reminding, you know. So, if Spurs make the quarterfinal, game's off. If Spurs don't make the quarterfinals, obviously Spurs have got to beat Southampton and Norwich at home.
So you've got 2 games to win before we know if this is even a possibility.
Yes.
So there's a strong chance this could be off.
Well, I'd say it's 50-50 probably.
All right, 50-50. If you agree or disagree, yeah.
On the fact you're already out as well. Otherwise, I'd say it's a bit higher.
To be off.
Chelsea and Man City is almost certainly going to be off, isn't it? City away to Sheffield Wednesday.
Yeah.
You wouldn't expect them to lose. I think Chelsea will make the quarterfinals. I really don't think Liverpool will go strong against Shrewsbury. We've basically said, like, I think even the kids on the fringes who are getting like regular sub appearances at the moment won't even play against Shrewsbury. You'd be like, you're having 2 weeks off.
Well, let's see. That regardless, Man City beat Sheffield Wednesday.
In any case, it probably won't go full strength with Chelsea. There's every chance of it. Burnley, Watford, we know is on.
Yeah.
Manchester United and Sheffield United is extremely likely to be off. They've both got good draws.
Yep.
Villa are out. They travel to Newcastle. Now that's up in the air, isn't it? Newcastle have got a replay at Oxford that we would still strongly fancy them in.
West Brom are tough side.
You could make a case that West Brom would be favourites to beat Newcastle, possibly. But Newcastle did pick a very strong team against Oxford at the weekend, it's worth noting.
And didn't get through.
and West Brom made 8 changes against you.
Yeah.
But suddenly, I don't know, they might look at it and go, oh, it's 2 wins from Wembley, yeah? Teams like that have got to start thinking that way. Norwich against Everton at the moment, you would think would be on in game week 31. Norwich would have to beat Southampton or Tottenham away.
Okay. However, if Norwich Everton is off, then the likelihood is Spurs West Ham is on if you beat Southampton.
Well, then Spurs West Ham is definitely on.
So it's one of the 2 is likely to be on, assuming you beat Southampton.
Well, it could be they're both on, because obviously Southampton beat both.
Yeah,
right.
And then we've got 3 games.
Yeah. Southampton due to play Arsenal. I think we'd all expect Leicester and Brighton to be off now, although Brighton are out. Leicester have probably had the best draw of the lot today, I would say. Birmingham or Coventry.
As it stands, 3 games at the moment.
So
Wolves, Bournemouth.
We're definitely looking at Wolves, Bournemouth, Burnley, Watford. I think Liverpool, Palace,
and Norwich, Everton.
That's the most likely, and then
4 games,
and then possibly Newcastle, Villa. I'd have to work it out, but I'd say the most you could have there is 6.
Possibly Spurs, West Ham. If Southampton go through, then Wolves, Liverpool, Norwich.
But I'm saying if you were to do it by bookies odds now,
4 games.
I'd say if you were to do it bookies odds now, you'd be looking at 5. So Wolves, Bournemouth is definite if this stays like this. Burnley, Watford, 100% confirmed. Liverpool against Palace. Norwich against Everton. And I think if you were to do it right now, you'd probably find West Brom are a short price to reach the quarterfinals of Newcastle.
Okay.
Because Newcastle got
I'm not so convinced on Newcastle, and I'm not so convinced on Liverpool. Definitely not convinced on Liverpool. But what does that mean then?
Okay, so let's say we end up with those 5 fixtures, hypothetically.
Yeah, where are they going to move?
Then we just go 3 Liverpool, Jimenez, Traore, another Wolves player, and whatever else we've got.
You mean build your team towards it?
And I'm saying not use the free hit in 31.
So the fact that I already own 2 Wolves, Jimenez and Traore, and 3 Liverpool, puts me in a good position.
Well, that's my point. So, like, if you free hit on that day, you've got the 3 Liverpool assets you want at the moment.
Yeah.
So who have you got?
Trent, Robbo, Mane.
Right. So, I mean, Mane, one way is going to be back fit by then, right?
Yeah.
Either you move to Salah, whatever, right? You got Traore and Jimenez.
Yeah, I'll just add Doherty.
So from the 2 that will likely have the best fixture in 31, you've already got 5. Anybody free hitting against you is going to probably be going for the same guys.
Yep. I just don't have to burn my free hit.
Yeah. Is it worth getting the other 6 to go, oh, I'll throw in the likes of Pukki and Richarlison?
Well, if the Liverpool game's on, I've got Martin Kelly. So now I'm up to another
probably
player.
Don't want Martin Kelly in that fixture.
Nah.
Yes, but, you know, any of those that you've got, so people have gone in on like a Holgate or someone like that, if it's to be Norwich Everton, you know, brings Jamel Lascelles possibly back into the conversation, that kind of thing. If you've got Ben Foster in goal, for example, or Nick Pope, suddenly you're looking at it and going, actually, have I already got half what my free hit 31 team would be?
And then what? Move to 34 for the free hit?
And then move to 34. Now, predicting how 34 will sit is impossible.
Because we don't know what the draw is for the quarters.
Once you know the draw for the quarterfinals, you can start making estimated guesses.
Is the draw for the quarterfinals before game 31?
They won't announce the doubles for 34 and 37 till 31's passed. After 31's an international break.
Yeah.
They ain't going to announce the doubles for 34 until they know that the semi-final lineup is for the FA Cup, right? Again, impossible. So you're not going to physically know who's going to double. Again, the flip of that is where we've always kind of thought, right, build to it, and then if someone has got a good double in that week, then transfer in those guys. Perhaps that's the week that we should now be looking at and going, forget it.
Yeah. There's always a week which is like, last year we filled our teams full of crap to wildcard on the other side of the flanks, right?
Yeah.
I don't think this year we're going to be looking at that. More experienced people are wildcarding after. Like 35, 36, something like that.
Right now, the majority of the people, other than the few who are watching
this week,
are still thinking free hit 31. And it may still be that free hit 31 is the best way to go, by the way, because it'll offer you great protection. You know, for example, things like if you haven't got any Wolves coverage at the moment, then, you know, it might just be easier to go that way rather than trying to thump them in for perhaps potentially difficult fixtures with sort of Leicester, Tottenham coming up, that kind of thing. You could argue whether that's difficult or not. So it's going to be personal circumstance, but it's the Liverpool draw that's making me really reassess things.
Yeah.
If Liverpool don't play in 31, I'm sure I'll still free hit 31.
Nick Griffith, this is Brewdog IPA, and it's a nice beer. I need to go and get a beer in a sec. May even hold out till half time now, 45 minutes coming up.
You've been here for 15 minutes, you can fuck off again.
No, wait till half time, then I'm going to get my beer. That's what I'm saying.
Some of us might need a wee, I'll go and get one.
So, yeah, 31's looking interesting now as to whether or not people free hit. The thing is, you can leave it late.
FPL-wise, this is the FA Cup fifth round draw is the one where I think it really kicks in terms of how you're going to do your
chip strategy,
your planning and stuff. Yeah, and it's not complicated like it is in other years. To repeat what I said to the guys before you come in, the last time 34 was a double after the FA Cup semi-finals. One team had a blank, 3 teams had a double. 3 teams who had a double: Middlesbrough, Palace, and Manchester United.
Rubbish.
If that's what you end up with, but my point is, you free hit to that, you go 9 players, it's 18 fixtures, plus another 2 for 20. Yeah. Whereas opposed to, say you go into the free hit with just 6 or 7 players, you're 4 short.
Yeah.
Whereas in the free hit,
you're making up almost 11, 12 extra.
You could be, yeah.
Nine extra players
potentially, yeah.
And you may see less rotation around there. It's definitely hotting up around the bottom of the table, so could be interesting.
Yeah,
could be interesting.
Definitely opened up ideas. I suppose as well. Like, I mean, if it did end up being Spurs West Ham, with respect, everyone would throw in Son, wouldn't they?
Yeah, yeah. I'd throw in 3 Spurs straight up. Son, Moura, Kane.
He won't even be fit,
and he'll still Kane won't be fit, won't be on the pitch, and he'll still be more likely to score a goal than Haller.
I tell you what, I'd get.
That's how bad it is.
I wouldn't get defensive from either, and I'd get Antonio in.
Yeah,
definitely.
Antonio. Yeah, dire times. I got I got offered a ticket for that Friday night game yesterday by my cousin who's season ticket holder.
In the West Ham end.
In the Spurs end, I was like, I'm not doing it. He was like, just come and see the stadium. I was like, I actually would like to come and see the stadium, look around, see what they've built there and all the rest of it, but not on Tottenham West Ham Day and not in the Tottenham end. Then he tried to mug me off and say, no, don't worry, we'll go corporate or whatever, and then you can be a little bit more mouthy. I was like, I'm not coming.
Do you want to come in the cold to Southampton or Norwich if we win?
No. Oh, no. I'll wait till the summer.
See if I can get you a Leipzig ticket.
Nah.
Champions.
In the summer I'll come when it's nice and sunny. And yeah, but apart from that, I'm not going to sit in the Tottenham end.
I'll get your tickets easy at the moment. When the weather's a bit better, it's a bit more difficult.
Yeah,
25 quid to charge me for the replay. You thieving bastards, Tottenham.
It's crazy, isn't it? It's so much money.
Well, you do me right.
Plus the change. It's 50 quid night out.
I paid. I found out today because a few people did inquire. My ticket on Saturday at Southampton did actually say 20 quid on the ticket.
Yeah, I was confused about that.
Spurs only charged us a tenner.
Right.
So I found out what happened was Southampton offered the season ticket holders the ticket for a tenner.
Yeah.
And anybody else, members or whatever, had to pay 20. So it was a bit of a reward for season ticket loyalty.
Yeah.
I quite like that kind of
thing. Same for us, because mine was 15, but non-season ticket
So they offered the same deal to us. So if it went past season ticket holders, then it would have been £20. As if it was going. Spurs away allocation ain't gone past season ticket holders for about 10 years, man. You got no chance. So it was a tenner. So the fact that it's been a tenner for us in the first game, and now you think the replay is 25.
Yeah.
They are so fucking insulting. 20 quid against Middlesbrough. You can't. Don't get me wrong. You can't complain at that ticket. But how can you justify £10 for one game, and in the same games then 25? 150% increase.
Yeah, it's not.
It's ridiculous.
On a midweek when there's so many games as well. I spoke about in Tottenham. Part of the reasons why I left really early on Saturday. I left at 73 minutes. I don't like leaving that early. But I'd already previous week I was there for Everton. I'm there again on Wednesday for Liverpool. I'm there again on Saturday for Brighton. But I'm here 4 times in 12 days for this nonsense.
Yeah.
I just think it's not too different for you, right? You're there so often, and with the Champions League.
These replays ain't helping.
Nah, exactly. So it's like, at least just make it a tenner or 15 quid or whatever.
So the thing is...
Can I just interrupt you one
second?
No,
I just want to finish one thing before you do. Just to say, the problem, and I've said this before about, there's no point moaning about ticket prices because if it was 60 quid, I'd still pay it and I'd still go, right?
Yes.
But also, it was 20 quid against Middlesbrough and everybody moaned and it was 56,000 in the ground.
Yeah.
So Spurs are going to go, well, it's even better opposition now.
Pay a fiver more.
And and it was on, that fixture Middlesbrough was on BBC One as well. It wasn't even on like BT, mate. Yeah. And the ground was still basically full. Yeah. Fine, sorry.
FPL Miller says he could listen to you talk about football and FPL all day.
I love you, Ben.
If only you were coming up north.
Well, I am. Is Ben Miller, is it?
Yeah. I don't know if it's Ben Miller. It's FPL Miller, it says here.
Oh, okay. We didn't have Ben Miller.
Benjamin J. Miller. He's in America, isn't he?
He's flown over now.
Oh, is he?
He's going back like the week before we go up.
Oh, worse. FPL Miller, you know we are coming up north, February 22nd. I don't know if those eyes mean...
I think he's taking the piss, mate.
Yeah. Excited. We've got a ton of people booked already in the first 3 days. There's going to be at least 70 to 80 people at this event.
Which is enough.
That's a lot. It gives everybody much less chance of winning the cash prize on the quiz that we've got planned and lined up as well.
If it goes up to 80, I'm going to tell Sush to shut it down. I think 80 is enough. Plus, having not been to the venue, I really don't know how big it is or it isn't.
Well, the guy said 150 people seated in the area. But,
did he?
Yeah, 100 to 150.
Okay.
I mean, that's quite a big variance. 100 to 150.
We get there and it's a fucking shed, mate.
What's James? What are your thoughts on Spurs charging Saints fans 25 quid for the replay?
Yeah, as I've just kind of said.
Same. Not fair.
No, and the thing is as well, it's especially like they've done a good deal there. £10 for season ticket holder, £20 for not, right? So do the same. Do the same.
Yeah. Because midweek for them to travel up and that is a little bit more tricky. I know it's not the biggest distance, but it's more tricky.
That's a whole other thing, right? So had they used their noggin and announced, and I don't know why clubs don't do this anymore. Why actually I do know, it's because of fucking TV companies. If they'd have used their brain and said at the weekend, right, if the game's a draw, the game's going to be played this Wednesday. Everybody knows in advance. It's going to be this Wednesday, this coming Wednesday. Everybody still gets their 2-week winter break. It's not a problem. If you communicate with people early enough and say, this is the situation, but we can't, can we? Because we've got to wait and see what games BBC and BT pick. Fuck's sake. And they obviously don't want it to clash with the League Cup semi-finals this week.
Of course.
And they paid the rights for the TV, etc. Yada, yada, yada. Yeah, I get it. Bollocks.
Bad things.
Told you, sit me and Ben Crellin down. We need 3 hours. We will fix the whole calendar.
Yeah. Chris Teller's Planet FPL Live 4 in Nairobi. It's happening, mate. So my best mate is opening.
He doesn't mean that.
No, honestly, my best mate is.
I just told someone else we ain't going to Dublin. We ain't going to Kenya.
My best mate, I'm trying to get this sentence out, is opening a bar in Nairobi. They're supposed to open in March, but they're running a bit behind. And they've got their own microbrewery in the back of the bar.
Oh, all right.
It's massive. It's a big old space.
Yeah.
And he will sponsor us to go to Nairobi to do an event. And I'm telling you, in Africa, they love the football, mate. It'll be mad. It'll be mad.
Other than Chris, won't have a clue what we're talking about, will they?
Chris, drop it in the comments. If we hosted an event, firstly, I've got a ton of family in Nairobi, so it'll be all my family on one side. It'll be a family reunion.
Treat done it FPL Live 4 in Kenya.
It would be wicked, mate. Honestly, we'd get. I reckon we'd get 60 to 80 people comfortably. Chris,
I tell you what, if we're going all that way,
the details of the bar.
I want 600 to 800, mate.
Tell me, how many people do you think in Nairobi would turn up? It's only a 7-hour flight.
There's one African country. Is it Kenya? We've got a ridiculous amount of listeners from one.
It was Ghana.
It was Ghana.
Yeah, we were fourth best football podcast in Ghana, mate.
Yeah. No, I think we were the second. We were the second most listened to football podcast, all football podcasts in Ghana.
Chris reckons the turnout will be insane. And I'm in agreement, mate, especially if we tie it with a couple of matches and stuff. I don't think we can make it happen this season. But I would only do it at my mate's
definitely
bar.
can't.
I would only do it at my mate's bar.
Is it in Nairobi?
Yeah, it's in Nairobi. They're building it right now, fitting it out and everything, running behind schedule. I'll ask him. Let me text him now. I'm going to call him. It's half time, isn't it? We've got nothing else to do.
Well, yeah, we've got a big schedule still to get through.
Okay. I'm sticking in my speaker. He ain't going to pick up. He might pick up. Straight to answer phone.
Do you want me to get your beer?
Yeah, if you get one.
Right, talk to the people. Guys, those 25 minutes were brilliant. Best conversation I've had in ages. Do you want one of them?
Yeah, if there's one there. Why not? FPL is massive in Nigeria and Ghana. I agree with you on that. Patrick would prefer Galway. We'd bump into Andy. Let's talk FPL if we were in Galway. Chris, my mate actually lives here, but his brothers are over there, cousins and that, so they're getting into this bar. How many views or listens do your podcast get across all streams and platforms on average? That's undisclosed information at present, John. It's all a little secret.
What's undisclosed?
How many downloads we get?
That's undisclosed.
Yeah. We can't tell people it's 1.2 million per episode. If only. Paul J and South Africa. I mean, we could do a tour through Africa and it would be just wicked. I've been probably 6 times to Africa. James has never been to Africa, but we can make it happen. We could definitely make it happen. I'm going to phone my missus, guys. First person to ask me a good question in the chat actually gets that question asked to my missus. She's not going to pick up the phone either. She cut me off and put me onto answer phone, mate. So I recommend you listen to Tottenham tomorrow if you want to listen to a very upset West Ham fan talking about how bad the weekend was. Not good. Yes, Chris, I will tell you the name of the bar as soon as it's open. 100%. 100%.
Leading 2-0 here at half-time. We're going to bring you more live Premier League football on BT Sport as well this Saturday with early kick-off from 11 a.m. That's ahead of Leicester versus Chelsea.
John Bailey, what is the carrier bag shop? That is a great question. I'm assuming that question is not aimed at me asking my missus, but this summer, July, will be 15 years since the carrier bag shop was founded. So if you go online, go on Google, go to www.carrierbagshop.co.uk, you'll find a website that sells paper bags, tissue paper, plastic bags, ribbon.
I think for 5 minutes you're trying to sell shit.
There's a question here. What's the carrier bag shop? Carrier bag shop basically pays the bills for the lights. Basically, so we can podcast, we have to have a packaging company to help keep the lights on. So if you want to buy paper bags, you'll be helping the podcast. Rough in a roundabout kind of way.
And you'll never know.
Yeah, and you'll never even know about it. We're at the office, Mr. Guna. Will I be the West Brom correspondent if the Hammers go down? I will not. I will not.
Who said that?
That's Kyle Norbury. Rohit listens to the podcast regularly. It's not just an FPL podcast now. It's a documentary
I really want to get
love for James and our friendship.
We've spoken about with the people's poll quite a lot. We'd like to make the people's poll more like it was today.
Yeah.
Generally.
Yeah.
In terms of and sometimes it's really difficult to come up with non-repetitive subjects. And there will be a time where
it's not just us repeating it, it's all of the other content creators talking about the same topics.
When we did it last week about was 24 the best time to use a triple captainship, I feel like there's still value in for an FPL subject. Yeah, we'll spend a good 25 minutes properly divulging onto that.
Yeah.
But we probably do want it to be more of a non-FPL show. If you want, it'll be on a non-FPL show. And plus, later that day, we normally release the main podcast anyway. The only reason we haven't this week is doing this. B, no weekend Premier League fixtures.
Yeah.
3, we did it on Thursday, basically.
Exactly.
So,
John Bailey wants to know, how do your bosses let you podcast this much?
Listen,
boss is a fucking legend.
Nobody tells this dog what to do, mate. I'm telling you.
Yeah. I started the business, so I get away with doing what I want when I want, really. Which would, for a lot of people, be slacking, but for us, it's conquering the football world. I prefer.
If Carrier Bag Shop went bust and Planet FPL went mental.
Nah. We don't want it to go bust. We want it to get so big that we can just flog it, mate. But what coming back to this, talking about the podcast, I prefer non-football I don't prefer it. It's as enjoyable as FPL
You're
content.
saying non-FPL content.
Yeah, non-FPL football content is as enjoyable to talk about as FPL.
I feel like from the more...
Or it was until next week. Because come next week, I will have more points than James.
That is 100% factual. There is no circumstance where come Friday, Suj will not be ahead of me.
Yeah. That's amazing.
Unless Sadio Mane turns up at the fucking Olympic
Final
Stadium
whistle,
on his crutches and bangs a couple in.
He could just stick on the penalty spot for the entire game and he'd still probably have one or two chances. He'd still have one or two chances. Or Bonner would clatter him and give away a penalty.
Should we
get an assist?
Should we talk about it very briefly? Because obviously we
Yeah.
pre-recorded the pod we released on Friday before Wolves Liverpool. So we haven't actually talked about
No, we didn't.
Mane or what happened there.
I had
it was his first injury in over 2 years.
Wow.
Yeah.
I don't have any sympathy for anyone that Captain Sadio Mane. Tough luck. Like, obviously it is bad luck, but so be it. But I actually think my decision to triple captain TAA was FPL genius. I actually think I should start a mastermind group and charge people £1,000 a month to be in my mastermind because it was genius.
You were right with that bit, mate.
Yeah. You don't get FPL advice for the £1,000 a month, but if you're passing North London, you need a shit. You can use our toilet.
We are not FPL experts. I always say
there's no such thing.
What I always say, there'll be guys watching who have triple captain Mane. Probably quite a large proportion of guys watching who have done that.
Yeah.
As did I. When the game week starts, what I always say.
Can I stop you 1 second?
Go on.
Shout out to the Gooner from Elite FPL who's jumped on the stream. Who wants to do a joint stream?
Yeah. I've said to Steve-O, we do that. We get it organised.
There's one issue in that.
We need to plan it.
We don't know what the fuck Twitch is. I do know what Twitch is, but I don't have a Twitch account, and we need your help in knowing and understanding Twitch because I'm not a gamer. James is not a gamer.
No. I'm well up for doing something with the Elite boys. They're really good.
Teach us Twitch, and we'll do it 100%. Or we just use YouTube.
Fucking like YouTube, isn't it?
Yeah, exactly.
It's just a different platform, mate.
Yeah.
It's what the cool kids are using. That's why we use it.
I understand. YouTube. Like my 7-year-old watches Minecraft gamers on Twitch.
That's two Minecraft references.
Yeah. 2 and 2 and 2. Anyway, you were saying before I rudely interrupted.
No, you're good.
About Mane's first injury in 2 years.
When the game week starts, all you can do is know, have you made the right decision? And for me, if I'm going back to last Thursday or whenever last Tuesday, when the game week started, did I make the right decision by triple captain Sadio Mane? Yes, 100% I did. No regrets. What will be. You can't legislate for that sort of thing happening.
Yeah.
So, it's disappointing, but that's the game. That's it.
I remember what happened with Sane last year. So it's not that I don't have any sympathy. It just is what it is, right?
Well, there's the trend now, isn't it? There's 3 years in a row. It's Kane, Sane, and Mane.
Yeah.
So no pain, no gain, mate.
Yeah. Points are on the wane.
Yeah, anybody with aim is never getting it again, mate. No.
I think TA is well in line for a clean sheet on Wednesday. Having said
can't argue that.
Having said that, I'll probably put £2 on West Ham to win, just because we do dumb stuff like that. I can't see how, but I just do. No, it's not going to happen. But stranger things have, right? Stranger things have.
This would be a very strange thing.
It would be, but stranger things have. What Liverpool are doing is incredibly hard. The intensity and keeping game after game after game after game. It's hard.
But they are doing it.
They are. When they do eventually lose, it's normally unexpected. I suppose Arsenal's unbeaten run.
It's always
United,
that case for Liverpool and Manchester City.
Yeah. Never expect them to lose. Yeah. Alex says he loves us both and thank you for the hard work week in, week
We
out.
love you too, Alex.
100%. 100%.
There's a few gambling references going on here. I'm gonna
Mansion 88. Fly Emirates. I thought the point that you made about the top 6 not having gambling companies and
interesting,
everyone else
isn't it?
does was very interesting.
Yeah.
And the disparity in shirt sponsorship money.
Very interesting.
Como, will they beat Arsenal's record, which was 49 games unbeaten, right? What are they on at the moment?
No, I don't think they will, actually. I don't think they will. I think they'll lose at Man City.
The thing is, in a few games
And
recently,
it won't matter. And they won't give a shit.
a few games recently, like the game against your lot and against Wolves to a certain degree, although Wolves came out much better in the start of the second half, they've been controlling games at 1-0s or 1-goal advantages rather than going for the 2 or 3 goal lead, and that's dangerous. Trying to just creep over with a 1-0 is dangerous, and that's why I think you're right. They eventually will come unstuck and leak a couple of late goals or something along those lines. But they look so good right now.
Yeah, phenomenal. Should we? What's in the
Agenda?
Yeah, let's do a couple of them because there's really little point to it in Bournemouth and Arsenal at the moment.
Yep.
I don't want to say I like Willock, but there are things about his play that I like. It's a good young player.
Right. Let's have a look here. Sorry, my missus messaged me to say, have we started the live stream? I don't know why she's not watching. FA Cup replays.
Have we frozen?
Nah.
We look like we have.
It does it from time to time. I might need to hit play. There, I haven't hit play.
Huh.
FA Cup replays.
Yeah.
Keep them. Dead them. Keep them.
So, what was going to attack on the? I can't remember who the team is now. I've completely forgotten. I did a bit of looking into a time when there were unlimited FA Cup replays.
Yeah.
So the most I could find was a tie, I think, in the early 70s between Oxford City and Church or something. 6 times they played each other in about 14 days.
Mad.
Before that, I think
By the 4th or 5th game, you get irritated.
A 4th qualifier. But I remember some ties when I first started going to football. And it really changed about. I remember there was a tie, Forest and Palace. In 90, there was 2 in 1990. Forest and Palace in the 3rd round.
Yeah,
it was 4 games. He used to flip after the first replay. He used to toss a coin and see who was like
home or okay. Yeah.
And then in the 4th round, Leeds and Arsenal played each other 4 times. The most famous occurrence was probably back in. This is a good one. You'll like this. It was back in 1980, and Arsenal and Liverpool played each other 4 times in the semi-finals. The first tie was on the 12th of April, and the 4th replay was after 2. I think the first game was at Hillsborough. The 2nd and 3rd replays were at Villa Park, and then they finished at Highfield Road, Coventry.
Yeah,
the 4th replay on the 1st of May, which Arsenal won 1-0. In the 3rd replay, Arsenal led for 89 minutes.
Okay.
They still ended up in a draw. And the reason you should like that story, sir, is because Arsenal were so knackered that you beat them 1-0 in the final.
Is that what it was?
Well, apparently, yeah. Then Arsenal lost the cup final 4 days later as well, just for good measure against Valencia on penalties.
You got to be really, really, really fucking tired to let Trevor Booking score with his head.
It was after that Leeds-Arsenal tie, they announced that from 91-92, there would only be 1 FA Cup replay.
Yeah.
And then if that was a draw, it would go to extra time and then go to penalties. And slowly since then, we've seen the reduction of replays to, obviously, the 99 semi-final was the last one with a replay. Ryan Giggs' goal against Arsenal at Villa Park, one of the greatest football matches I have ever watched.
We did a special on that, didn't we? We talked about it.
We did, yeah. And then the quarterfinals went, replays in the quarterfinals went about 5-6 years ago, I think, maybe.
Yeah.
I was at the last ever, we didn't know it at the time, the last ever FA Cup 5th round replay when Spurs beat Rochdale 6-1 in the snow at Wembley.
Yeah.
A few people might remember my tweet showing Spurs' heat maps of the night. That game probably really shouldn't have happened. The weather was ridiculous. I had to go to the back tier of Club Wembley, which is the second tier at Wembley. I had to go to the back row of the second tier to take shelter from the snow.
Wow.
At Wembley. Unbelievable, mate. How cold and how bad the snow was.
I admire your dedication, because if it was that bad, I'd just fuck off home. Like,
There's no doubt.
I don't care.
I'm not going to lie to you, though, because I remember we was here during the day, and I remember my old man was messaging me, and he about 2 o'clock. He's going, "It's not going to go ahead, is it?" And I was like, "I don't know, Dad." Like, they ain't said that. And to be honest, it was so cold. I was thinking,
just call it off.
Call this shit off, man.
Call it off.
Let's come back next week or whatever. So cold.
Who's gone down here? Xhaka.
But the idea was that they didn't. So 5th round replays got scrapped last year.
Yeah.
But it wasn't announced till around about December time, where like suddenly again get me and Ben sitting down together, where somebody had suddenly clocked there was nowhere to fit in FA Cup 5th round replays in the schedule. It's like, oh yeah, if it's 2 Champions League teams, like he literally can't go anywhere. So he just decided to get rid of them. And now you're seeing this with the 4th round replays, with teams having to play it during this so-called winter break. So that's next, isn't it? 4th round replays will go. And at which point you start going, well, what's the point? And I absolutely get it. I'm really passionate about lower league clubs and getting a fair deal in this competition, etc.
But 1 replay is enough, and then just
the argument is always the financial gain of the replay, and I get that. So we've seen stories today about Shrewsbury going to Anfield and what it will do for them in terms of like supposedly they can maybe get like a sports sciences, electrical equipment for training ground, etc. Like big things that like probably better than West Ham's training ground, as mentioned earlier.
Yeah.
Sorry, we pre-recorded Tottenham earlier. That's a spoiler for tomorrow.
Huh.
But nobody ever goes, well, what if they'd won on penalties yesterday and would now had Chelsea away? They're still getting their big tie.
True.
Nobody ever says that.
I think it's about getting as far in the competition as you can, not about anything else.
There were some lovely stories in terms of football clubs. I remember Exeter drew at Old Trafford when Ronaldo was still one of the last years at United, sort of mid-noughties or so. They drew 0-0 at Old Trafford. So they got all the load of the gate receipts from that. Then they had the replay was televised. They got all the TV money from that. He lost the replay free and it was fine. And what he did for them financially, I reckon it would keep the club going for like 3 years worth, just that tie. So I completely respect all that. But isn't it a little bit, I don't know, and Shrewsbury might still go to Anfield and win, but isn't the story the glory day? I don't know, the game's about glory, man.
It's about getting as far in the competition as you can, in my opinion. So yeah, I think
penalty! Oh. Penalty! I don't like that anymore.
Not happening.
No. So yeah, I completely get the lower league club. The flip side of it as well, and this is the other thing that doesn't get spoken about when we talk about replays, is take a circumstance where, say, in the first round, Carlisle play Exeter. I shout for penalty, mate. Check in. No. Fuck off.
Well, how's that so fast?
Yeah.
Why is that so fast? And the goal and offside.
That's not fast.
Whatever. Way more so fast.
So yeah, we all love replays. But I can assure you, no one loves it when Carlisle draw Exeter in the first round and they draw each other and they've never got to play a replay, because the cost of the travelling for the travelling club for that replay is a nightmare. A nightmare. I think there's a case and there's a wider conversation that can be had where we might get, particularly there was some talk a couple of years ago about the 5th division, wasn't there?
Yeah.
If it ever went that way.
But there's a 5th division, it's called the Conference.
Yeah, but they were talking about legalising it, weren't they? So make it, rather than, so the Championship League 1, League 2 now is 24 teams. Talking about having
20.
Yeah, 4 teams of 20. So rather than being...
And 18 in the Premier League.
So it would only be 8 extra Football League teams.
Yeah.
But the theory behind doing that is then the bottom
That's
2
it.
divisions would be like a division, a League 2 North and League 2 South.
Yeah, and that makes sense.
Regionalise it
Similar to
well.
Ireland.
And that's what used to be in like the 70s. You had Division 3 North and Division 3 South, which would now be your Leagues 1 and 2.
Yeah.
Were split into North and South sections. And for some of these clubs, it's like, prime example, Accrington Stanley's been fighting for years to try and get an Astro pitch, which no one wants. But their case, they're a very small club who have done very well for themselves in the last few years at that level. But it's not sustainable, even though they've been finishing in, sort of like challenging for the playoffs in League 1, which is well above their status as a football club, with respect.
Accrington Stanley.
Who are they? Exactly. But if they had an Astro pitch and could use that all year, they can lease out the stadium every night of the week with no threat to the pitch, etc. Right. You can have events at the stadium, and that's the sort of thing that will like stabilise it.
Yeah.
So yeah, the only argument people say to me about FA Cup replays is, the money teams make from replays, but there's the inconvenience, like I said, of that lower level replay. What's that? No, they don't want that. And what about the potential winning day? I highlighted the other week about Colchester. So Colchester beat Palace on penalties in the League Cup. They beat us on penalties. And the poor bastards had the reward of Crawley Town away in the last 16 of the Carabao Cup. Right, what are you going to do? You beat Crawley, and then you've got Old Trafford. You're in the last 8. Brilliant. And Bradford City in 2013, who got to the League Cup final. And I think they won 3 of their ties on penalties from the first round onwards, I believe. And without penalty shootouts, we never would have got there, mate. Never would have happened. So,
I'm with one. I think that what we've got to now is fine. Replays in the 3rd and 4th.
Is it? We're at the 4th round stage, and we can't fit the replays into the calendar.
Yeah.
Winter break. So to bring on to the next subject.
Yes.
Here's what I'd do with the winter break.
Yeah.
We'd have it in January. We'd have 1 weekend off, and we would have it with no FA Cup replays, and we'd have the 3rd round break, 4th round. So there'd be no Premier League.
There's actually no Premier League then for nearly a month.
Yeah. So if the big clubs want to treat it disrespectfully like that, and they want to give their guys 3 weeks off or 4 weeks off, they can do it. They can fuck off for 3 or 4 weeks.
Yeah. How would you feel about Tottenham doing that and playing exhibition matches in Dubai or America or wherever?
Can't happen.
Right. So you'd shut all of that shit down from a commercial point of view.
It's then up to the club whether they want to give their high-profile players 3-4 weeks off, or whether they want to play them in the FA Cup and treat the thing more seriously.
Oh, I thought someone was going to get hurt there.
Now, a whole wider conversation. I'd scrap 4th for Champions League and give it to FA Cup winners.
I thought he got hurt there.
Yeah, it's leg injury though, so he won't stop the game. Free-headed out.
No.
What is that?
He's done.
That's Mustafi.
That looks horrible.
I did see that.
I think Leno came out and just took him out.
He cut that, didn't he?
No. Oh.
Yeah, it'd be fine. He's a German. Oh, yeah. Cut that.
Ouch.
It's not Leno in goal. It's is it Martinez, is it?
Yeah.
And League Cup semi-finals. That's another one. Big joke. Right, how is this 2 legs? There were 2 options what they need to do with that. I cannot believe that it's 2020 and the League Cup semi-finals are still having 2 legs. Ridiculous.
Yeah.
Do one of 2 things with it.
Wembley. Let's go to Wembley. It's neutral.
That's a whole other podcast. Do one of 2 things with it. 1,
yeah,
make it 1 game. And so the team that's drawn at home, fuck it, you're at home.
Yeah.
Bollocks to it. It's fucking Carabao Cup semi-finals, man. Just have it once. That's what I would do with it. Right? No neutral venue. It's keep it midweek. It's one game, and it's whoever's drawn at home, you're at home. Solid.
Mm-hmm.
Or the alternative, you move them to a weekend, and you have them at a neutral venue, and you give it to some of these stadiums that would never have events like that. So, I don't know, Leicester Villa, for example. Like, there's no need for that game to be brought down to Wembley. Right? You could have it on a one of the issues. I think the old Bill Dolan will be having like 60,000 go somewhere on a weeknight, like 30,000 of two clubs. It's all right managing 5,000 away fans or something.
Yeah,
you don't imagine 30,000 of two.
Yeah, no, I understand that.
I get that a little bit as well.
Yeah.
But Leicester Villa on a weeknight or something.
Who's that?
You could have it. You could have it at like Derby or Forest or Molineux or something, or whatever. Have it somewhere that's local to these guys.
Yeah.
You know, if it's United City, all right, it's got to be at Anfield.
Saka's got a good finish.
Just have it at Anfield.
Yeah.
Or put it if the police are that bothered about it, fine. Put it at a weekend. There's no need to make United and City in a League Cup semi-final thump down to Wembley. It's ridiculous. Have it at or go the other way. Go up to St James's or Sunderland.
Is it true Dominic Solanke hasn't scored for Bournemouth?
No, that's incorrect. It's scored in the third round.
Dominic Jarvis was just saying that he hasn't scored yet. No point in having him.
Well, he's been playing so good. I think Mustafi is actually fucked here. Bless him.
Ouch. Ouch.
What was the other one on the people's poll? Was that all of them I covered?
Replays,
winter break. Oh, the loan system.
Loan system. You think it's getting abused now?
I do. I think big clubs are abusing it. For me, it's not what the purpose of loans are for. Yeah. Loans are for. I would like to.
Loans are for getting minutes for young players and helping clubs that don't have enough of the squad. But the problem there is now even the young players are getting like 30, 40 grand a week, some of them. Your League One and League Two clubs can't afford their wages.
I would like to stop Premier League clubs being able to get players on loan.
To send players out on loan?
No, get players on loan.
Okay, so that's an interesting concept.
I'd like to completely stop it. Something makes me feel very uncomfortable about player X going from Tottenham on a loan to Norwich.
So don't loan people in your own league.
Yeah, makes me uncomfortable.
Yeah, I mean that's why you can't play against your parent club.
Yeah. So there's an advantage there, isn't there, to the selling club straight away?
Yeah. Your issue is all around this loan with option to buy to get around.
Well, did part that? Yeah. So and Spurs are
sell-on fees or whatever.
Spurs have abused it. That basically, Spurs and Betis. The reason the loans happened with Lo Celso, we believe it's going to become permanent this week, is they've both stitched up Paris Saint-Germain. Now, if there's one club that deserves to be stitched up financially, he's probably
they got enough money, mate.
He's probably Paris Saint-Germain.
The Qataris have got enough money, mate.
But they basically stitched Paris Saint-Germain up to the tune of about 15 million by making it a loan rather than a permanent transfer, which is kind of funny in its own way. But it don't sit right. You're going to pay 55 million for a footballer, but we'll make it a loan first. It all feels a bit murky. This with Fernandes.
What about if you then had to backdate it to the date of the original? If you turn a loan to perm into a perm, you backdate the transfer to the date of the.
What did that mean?
Well, Spurs wouldn't be able to do this because they wouldn't then be stitching up Paris Saint-Germain. So you wouldn't get these ghost loan deals.
Part of the things with that is, and one of the reasons transfers take so long now, is the amount of additionals and add-ons. If player X does this, player X does that, wins the international cap, gets 10 goals, all these things that would supposedly just got annulled basically by he couldn't do anything more at Betis and so it was going to stitch them up. I think he, I don't know what the deal was, but it stitched PSG up in anyhow. So take this week, they're talking at Spurs and United are both potentially looking at loan deals for forwards.
Yeah.
Now it might be that and this wouldn't surprise me, that we're sitting here in like 96 hours, and Edison Cavani, for example, was a Manchester United player on loan.
Yeah.
Edison Cavani on his day is one of the best strikers on this planet. It doesn't feel right, mate. You're Man United. Go and fucking buy the player. And I feel like that about Spurs as well. Like if they believed enough in Gedson Fernandes, like go and buy the player. I think one of the things it's doing as well, I think part of it might be to get around some sort of FFP rulings as well. By spreading, I know with transfer fees, there are so many that are getting spread over time now. So you can buy a player for 60 million, and you might only be paying like 10 million as the first instalment.
Yeah,
I think like, that's okay. However, that's commonplace now.
Yeah,
where
that's just
payments are getting spread over over certain instalments. The whole loan thing just doesn't sit right with me. It's for me, it's about helping lower league clubs and getting experience for your players to go and play proper football. And that's what it was for. It's not for big clubs to, it's not for Man United and PSG to be sharing players on 300 grand a week. And that's part of the problem as well, I think. For some of the wages of these guys as well.
Makes it hard. I understand that. Yeah.
What's happening on
Oh,
TV?
one thing we didn't talk about that we can talk about.
State of that.
We did pre-record Tottenham.
Must listen to
very disappointed about
this
West
guy.
Ham. However, we're staying up. I've changed my mind now. We're staying up.
Okay.
Because of Thomas Souček, who is a central midfielder that has signed for West Ham. Yeah. So we're fine. He's come from Slavia Prague.
Slavia!
He's come from Slavia Prague.
We know it's a true story, this.
Having said that, he's having his medical tomorrow. And if we don't have power in the porter cabin, he's not going to be having his medical. And that, you also need to listen to Tottenham to understand.
This guy on Tottenham tomorrow is sensational. True story about, who's this guy you're buying?
Thomas Souček. He's a central midfielder from Slavia Prague.
We'll have a look at the comments in a sec.
Never heard of it.
I will tell you a true story. The first time I went on tour with Spurs, should have actually been to Rotterdam in 2007.
Is this pre-season? Yeah.
No, it was still the UEFA Cup then. Okay. Which we finalled in the last 32.
So you were 17.
And there's a lot historically about the final fixture with Tottenham. So Spurs caused riots in Rotterdam when the UEFA Cup final was a two-leg final, believe it or not.
Okay. In what, the 70s or 80s?
In 1974, I think the final.
Okay, yeah.
And my dad went to Rotterdam.
Yeah.
He never went and watched Spurs in Europe again, so he went to Milan with me in 2010 when Bale scored the hat-trick. Yeah. I was going to go with a mate of mine to Rotterdam, and my old man was like, I'll never watch Spurs in Europe. He was in the ground in Rotterdam, and basically the Spurs fans ripped the place up. My dad was, he would have been about 20. Yeah. And even at that age, he was properly embarrassed. Yeah. He was like, I'll never do this again. So, but final got thrown out for hooliganism playing in Nice in the group stage. Okay. The draw had already been made because they went through, but actually UEFA threw them out. So we got a bye. And I never ended up going to Prague or Seville. So the next year I ended up going to Prague for Valentine's Day with a mate. I mean, what else you do on Valentine's Day? Yeah. I mean, Prague is a lovely city. Yeah, but that didn't take the missus, did I? Nah. my mate said to me, I've only been to Prague and stag. My mate gave me one tip in Prague. He said, don't eat the meat. Okay. First thing I did was eat a lasagna. Oh, no. Were you in trouble? That didn't stay down on both ends, mate. Oh, mind you, nothing to do with the amount of alcohol I abused myself with for 48 hours. After the game, we went the day before the game. After the night of the game, we ended up in some nightclub. Yeah. And there was this Czech guy, and he was a Slavia fan, and he bought a champagne. He couldn't speak any English, and he just kept running up to us and shouting, Slavia! And so when you said Slavia, sorry, it made me think of that. Well, brilliant. Prague is a brilliant place. I couldn't go now. My stomach couldn't contain what happens in Prague.
The nightclub that you ended up in Prague.
It was right on the.
Because I've only been to Prague twice.
It was right on the river.
Was it called Captain Nemo's Exotic Submarine?
It might have been. I have no idea, mate.
Because if it was, I've been there on a stag do.
It was one of my favourite cities. This place was right. It was on the
one of my favourite cities.
It's a great place, actually.
Yeah.
We ended up. Well, yeah, it was still going on. I mean, I caught about an hour's sleep, about 4 hours before I fly back in the morning.
Danny Ceballos is on, eh?
I remember waiting for McDonald's to open.
I don't know how or why Danny Ceballos got a lot of talent.
He wants to leave, apparently, doesn't he? Because he ain't playing enough football.
Well, he's only on loan, isn't he? So he can go back to Real Madrid. It's another one, isn't it? Yeah. He can go back to Real.
Well, that's one where actually Spurs said, no, we ain't taking you on loan. We'll either buy you or not buy you.
Yeah.
And he went there because he wants to. He's obviously very.
He wants to go back to Madrid, obviously.
He wants to get in Spain squad.
Yeah.
For the Euros.
Yeah. Danny Ceballos, you can come to West Ham if you want, mate. Because
I don't believe that Arteta wouldn't fancy him as a footballer. Actually,
I
think he's quite busy. Yeah,
very good.
He's had injuries.
I still remember my double-digit return from him in like 4 or 5. So a couple of those assists were a bit ropey, but
read us through comments, mate.
Comments. James wants me to read the comments.
Yeah, read comments.
Chancellor Dan says it's a much more spirited second half from Bournemouth. I mean, they couldn't get much worse.
Yeah,
agree with that. And Andy Martin doesn't reckon that the tie is over. My man Chris Tellers, he's been listening to a few podcasts on Spotify at work, but he thinks he's going to watch YouTube of the new Tottenham. I mean, I look good. So, yeah.
I like a state. I'm not going to lie.
Favourite topic you haven't covered in people's poll? That's a good, interesting one.
We don't know yet.
Yeah.
I'm trying to find topics that are relevant and current and non-FPL. And that's what I'll try and do again for next week.
Kian McKenna, have you tried at Football Index, lads? We are not going to be trying or using Football Index until and when they sign a sponsorship deal for the podcast. So if you've got any connects there, they can sponsor us, and then by all means, I'll happily spank
some guy who had a Football Index account. Did ask me to DM him about a year ago, and it was some waffle, and I said, "Look, mate, I really thought you were going to offer me a sponsorship." And that was the end of the conversation. I'm interested. Our West Ham correspondent Chris,
he plays.
He's really keen on it, and actually, if you want to learn a bit about it, Chris is a good guy to speak to about it. And there's a little, because obviously he interacts with Chris. I realised there is a bit of a Football Index community. It does interest me. The problem is, this podcast massively restricts me. So I used to watch a lot of overseas football.
Okay.
I just do not have the time anymore.
We can scrap the podcast, mate. If you're going to make money,
would
I rather you were banking a couple of mil or Football Index or recording with me, mate?
It's what I'm here for.
Banging the money, mate.
I just, I'm just playing it slow, Trigger. I used to, when I had an ex I didn't like much.
Yeah.
When I lived with her, I used to try and watch as many teams as I could. I'd promised myself that I would. I used to take one game on a Saturday, one game on a Sunday, and when I worked in the bookies actually, and I had like a whole day off in the week, I'd sit down and watch 2 of them, and I'd try and watch as many different games as I could. So I could end up one weekend taping like AZ Alkmaar against 20 and Calgary against Bari, and there's me on my day off. I'd be sitting there watching that shit, mate. I can't do that now.
Nah, it's harder with kids and all the rest of it.
But I don't even like. I used to watch a bit of the Spanish. I don't watch that now.
The point you're making that I think is quite interesting, because at the moment there's only 5 leagues in Football Index, right? Premier League, French, Spanish, German, Italian. The people that are probably making the biggest gains are the ones that are picking out not the Harry Kanes of the world, but the young up and coming players in the in the lower leagues,
I would have
in the
thought so,
international leagues as well. So it's like when you know who to look out for that's up and coming or what have you, you're more likely to be successful. And for that, you need knowledge, real knowledge. Yeah, so I don't do it for me. Don't do it for me.
I it needs time. So,
Yeah.
I mean, essentially, it's gambling again. Isn't
Yeah,
it?
yeah.
Although I think it's a platform that's managed very well, and it seems very trustworthy in terms of its sort of, why when I used to gamble quite heavily,
Legit. Yeah.
I used to like Betfair because I knew I was backing against other human beings, right? I used to probably around about, I could have mentioned this on the People's Poll earlier, but around about 2006, 2008, I was very heavily exchanging.
Currency.
No, football matches.
Exchanging, I don't even know what I mean.
So
Betfair
buying and laying before an event to fix in a fixed profit.
Yeah.
Best one I ever had was I was at work and I was just about to leave, and news come up. Stoke were playing Liverpool the next day. Come up breaking news: Steven Gerrard and Torres both out.
Right. Okay.
And this was the year they were trying to push United, 2008, 9, I think it was. So I've slammed into the account every penny I've got. I had about 2.5, 3 grand in there at the time, I think.
Yeah.
Slammed every penny I had on Stoke.
Yeah.
Got home about an hour later and laid it for everything I could back on Stoke. And I locked in, it was 400 quid.
Wow.
Within an hour. Win, draw, lose. Did an equal split, whatever the result was. That was, to get that come up and see the news break live, Torres and Gerrard both out. That's would be like now Mane and Salah.
Yeah.
Just unexpectedly, right? Both out. Bang. You know,
I don't really use exchanges.
You know which way, but the problem, it was a period in the mid to late noughties, where there was enough movement where you could be quick enough. There are guys. If that same thing happened now, honestly, within 10 seconds, I'd probably be too late.
Wow, as quick as that.
All right, people doing that that's their livelihood.
Their job, yeah. This has been a bit of a boring game, really, isn't it?
We're watching it, mate. I don't think much of them in yellow.
You never do. There's still an outside chance of finishing above you in the league. That was one of the questions we had just now. Who'll finish higher, Spurs or Arsenal? It's a very good question. I don't think there's been much in it this year.
I got a very good answer to that. Depends on how well Spurs do in the cup. What the fuck out now? What the fuck was that?
I was reading a question.
Stay at it.
Honestly, this is how they defended against us. I know they won at the weekend.
Wow. You know what? If that's on target, goalkeeper ain't getting there.
They are at risk, Bournemouth, man.
Well, of course they are. They're 19th in the bloody league.
Dodgy.
I don't know how this game ended up, Sally. This is why it was a good one, Australian. I know it wouldn't be bothered. The Spurs Arsenal, who'll finish higher? If Spurs do,
Aubameyang stays,
if
Arsenal.
Spurs do very well in the cups, Arsenal.
If Aubameyang stays, Arsenal got a better chance. If he leaves, then I think Spurs. Kane ain't coming back this season, is he? Or he might.
I'd be very surprised if Aubameyang left, but I don't know. It's a difficult one, isn't it?
Yeah.
He's 30. Is he 30?
Yeah, either side of.
Is Barcelona smashing a big bid for him, mate?
They got 4 days to do it.
I just had 2 terrible results. Barcelona lost to Valencia the weekend.
Yeah,
was it Granada lost to in the cup last week as well? 1-0 up with 10 minutes ago, lost an extra time, I think.
Just having Messi is not always enough.
It would be for me in my life.
It'd be the Premier League. It's fucking scary.
Now, fair game there. Granit Xhaka, because we don't give out credit enough. He's made a great challenge there.
Just pop into the loo. Won't be a second.
All right, myself. What was I talking about, guys? I can't fucking remember. Oh, Aubameyang. He's 30, you know. If Barcelona come knocking, it's your last chance. I've spoken about he's done well there, Xhaka. I've spoken about the imbalance of Arsenal squad with Aubameyang, Lacazette, but I've also said the flip side of it in terms of, yeah, okay, sell one, decide who your man is. One gets injured and you're in the Kane Tottenham position in terms of where are we, etc. Yeah, it's one to I'd be surprised if he left though. I would say, pretty surprised. Let me see what's happening on YouTube because Suj isn't one for reading comments, and I'm really good at this sort of thing. I'm nice like that. Patrick Bass haven't made any good decisions in the transfer market in recent years, to be honest. No, I heard they were linked with Ericsson the other day. Cole Norbury, Barcelona might get Alba on loan. Is that loan okay, James? Why would Arsenal let him go on loan? I mean, that's the point, isn't it? How do Arsenal benefit from Aubameyang going on loan other than what? Barcelona pay the transfer fee for, I don't know, a year's worth, say. What would it be if they got Aubameyang, presumably an 18-month loan rather than 4 months? So what's the fee there? I'm going to say 20 million. What's the benefit of that when, like I said, he's already 30 and Arsenal could probably sell him now for 50 or 60? Just the whole loan thing for players like that just doesn't sit right with me. Chris said, even though I'm not too bothered with this game as an Arsenal fan, wasn't even planning on watching, but James told me on Twitter, you guys were going to be live streaming. I did, mate, yeah. Manchester Reds, does Kane miss the Euros if he misses the rest of the season? And if so, who's the best option to take his spot? Yes, mate. I told you I'm going to get these guys on an England people's poll soon. I tell you what, there's a clutch of English players forward-wise. Callum Wilson. Controversial Danny Ings, who I wouldn't bother with. I think Danny Ings absolutely deserves a chance to be looked at in the next England squad. But I would rather, if Vardy doesn't want to come out of retirement, and I think it's completely understandable because he's only going to play if Kane's out. I would rather we got ourselves in a position where we had a front three that was interchangeable, like a Rashford, Sterling, Sancho, that kind of thing. We're talking about England up front if Kane was out in summer.
I'm going to put £5 on England not to win the Euros. I think it's a good bet. What odds do you reckon I'll get on that?
If you're betting on it, but England are joint favourites, man.
Joint favourites?
Which
we're smoking crack.
We
don't win international tournaments.
Laughable.
We don't win international tournaments.
It's so fucking laughable. Basically, the best thing that could happen for England in terms of their journey through the tournament is probably to finish third in the group and hope they're one of the best third place teams. We basically either got Portugal, if I remember correctly, we've either got Portugal, Germany, or France.
Yeah.
If we win the group in Dublin, the last 16, or if we finish second in the group, we've probably got Spain in Copenhagen or something. We haven't looked into this before. But it's basically a disaster fuck. England ain't even going to make the quarterfinals, mate. Scott Speed 1000. Will Poch have a job start of next season? Where? Yes, Maurizio Pochettino will be the Manchester United manager in August.
You reckon?
I'm almost certain.
It's been a pretty aggressive cup tie, I'll give it that.
One thing I'd say about Pochettino at United, absolutely he can make a great job of it. It won't start great. If he ends up there.
Won't start great.
It won't start great. It will be 3 months in, Manchester United fans will be questioning where they're at.
Yeah.
And if they give it time, they'll have a good couple of years. whether he can take them, if he were to get the job, to what they expect, which is obviously pushing Liverpool and Manchester City, of course.
Standards.
I can't tell you that, but he will, if given time, 100% will make it a damn sight better than what it is at the moment.
They are, England 4-1 favourites for the tournament at the moment on Sky Bet. Thank you, Brian, for letting us know that. Madness. Absolute madness.
Joe Finley Badder, I think Watford are responsible for the biggest abuse of the loan system.
Apparently
in
so.
2012-13, when we signed about 10 players on loan from Udinese and caused the rule to be changed. Yeah, there was something there, wasn't there, about, I think Granada is the other partnership they've had. And that's where Isaac's success come from, wasn't it?
Is he a success?
When there's been, it's a success. There's been loads of players going in and out. So it's calmed down a little bit, actually, since Watford got promoted back to the Premier League. Yeah, Joe, hit me up on Twitter. Tell me more about that rule change. I'd be interested. Patrick Lawson. Last year, I triple captain Aguero in a double game week and he went off injured 57 minutes into the first game. This year, I put it on Mane and he went off after 33 minutes. Probably best I don't use it next year. You, mate, are not alone. I have seen people legitimately who for the last 3 years have gone Kane, Sane, Mane.
Let's talk about something different.
Go on in.
The official FPL account on Twitter. Are you a lover or a hater? I just put it out there. I'm a lover.
I'm absolutely not a lover.
I don't think they take the piss, though.
However, I do not have a problem with the tweets.
Yeah.
Like,
they got to have a bit of fun. It's a game, man.
I don't take it seriously.
I
think the problem that the official FPL account has is it's not really. Is it possibly
it's not got an identity?
Yeah, it's possibly a little bit unfair because I'll have times where I send very serious tweets and then I'll have times where I send very unserious tweets. So it's probably a little bit double standards for me to say that. But there are times where it's very straight laced and it's da-da-da-da-da. And then there's other times where it's like out of nowhere. It's like I'm a fucking banner account.
Yeah.
I just a little bit more in terms of what they want to be would be preferable.
Yeah.
But
I mean, having a banner account's good.
If you have an issue with it,
don't follow.
And the problem is, unfortunately, and neither me or Serge feel like this, is a little bit difficult to. It kind of relates a little bit to what we were talking about this morning. People generally get fucked up over this game.
Too much.
Way too much.
It's a guessing game. You have no control.
Let me put it to you like this.
Yeah.
When you consider the state that people get in over FPL, is it any wonder that there's so many people have a fucking gambling problem?
No.
With people's addictive nature.
Yeah. It confuses me how much time people spend on this game. And we have a podcast with the back of it.
Look at the clowns.
Look at the clouds.
Clowns. Me and you. Like, does anyone spend more time on it than us?
I mean, it's a bit different. It's a bit different. I've had weeks where I've forgotten to do my team and missed the deadline. More so in Sky than Fantasy because it's new to me. But and I'd always do Sky FPL first.
What are we aiming for? There's one guy every year out of 7 million can win a fucking nice goodie bag and
a stress ball and a fucking PlayStation game.
Right, yeah. And I can tell you right now that the guy who wins it every year, he ain't like winning the Premier League. He ain't the best FPL player. No. He's the guy who had the best luck during the course of the season.
Yeah.
I mean, it's fun, isn't it? But I have some sympathy with guys. One of the things we never talk about too much is we know there are people out there that invest serious money in cash leagues and stuff.
Yeah.
I don't know whether it affects people's morale seriously if you're getting fucked over at work in like a mini league. I mean, admittedly, like if you beat me this season, like I'm done. I'm resigning.
Retiring. Just make sure you get out pinky first, and then we're good.
Oh yeah, I think you're thinking. I'm sure I offered to double that as well. You clunker.
Nah, keep it as it is.
That's going to be the. I mean, that's my FPL season left now. That's the state of it. It's just come to beating you now, but you've had a good run in fairness.
If Trent keeps a clean sheet, I could be 350. That would be from going from 820 to 350, 300 in a week.
If Trent has a good return on Wednesday, you'd be about 30 points ahead of me, mate.
It's mad to think about. Absolutely mad.
I still get you.
Yeah, I don't know that. Think what you like. Come on. Oh, Bournemouth. They're not good.
No, they're not, unfortunately.
Which is why the
third goal coming out.
Brighton game was so surprising at the weekend. I'll be honest with you, it was surprising.
8 minutes?
What the fuck? Mustafi was out for a while.
3-2. They're going to win 3-2. Watch Arsenal shit themselves. Classic era, mate.
In the comments, if you're coming to Planet FPL Live 3 in Manchester, please say yes. Or if you're planning on coming and you haven't bought your ticket yet, please jump in the comments and say yes. I'm really, really interested to know how many people haven't bought their ticket that said they were going to. Where in Manchester is it? Manchester Reds, it's at Shack Bar and Grill, which is High Street, M4. I don't know the full address, but it's Shack Bar and Grill.
It's the Northern Quarter.
Okay. We start at 12:30, 12:30, and we're going through till whenever. Last man standing, basically.
You can, if you come on late to Shane did say at the start, but go to my bio. Basically, my bio at the moment is Planet FPL Live 3, Manchester, is a link to tickets. You are not forced instantly into buying a ticket. If you want to read more about what's happening on the day, please do have a click onto that. There is a clear note on there, which basically says, between the hours of 12:30 and 2:30, don't fucking disturb me because I'll be watching Spurs. Yeah. So if you think I'm an unsociable prick, I'm telling you in advance now. I ain't talking to no one other than like, James, you want a beer? Yeah, cool. Just I'll be like that. Yeah, get me one. Yeah, cool, whatever. So yeah, I like if you want to come and talk to me while the game's like, that's fine. Don't start telling me I'm like your FPL hero in the middle of Spurs because I don't want to fucking hear it.
We had someone jump on who said, what was the turning point in my season? There was 1 week, which I'm looking at here, game week 19.
He's not exactly had a turning point. It's like 500 games.
But game week 19 is when I captained Raheem and he picked up a 20-pointer, and then Trent picked up a 24-pointer. Heaton, before the last game before he got injured and booted out, picked up a 10-pointer, and then Jimenez with 11 points. That week, my game week rank was 41k, which is the highest game week rank. Yeah, 41k that I've had all season.
And you took a hit that week, and you don't often.
Nah, that pushed me from 1.2, 1.3 continuously up to like 600-700k, and I broke into that.
It was the Boxing Day. I wildcarded, and I had early 80s as well, I think.
Did you?
Yeah.
Interesting. Yeah, because you left your wildcard. Seriously.
Yeah, Kane captain and Ali, didn't I?
Yeah. Manchester Reds, you're laughing. Is that because our choice of venue is shit? Can you let us know? I'm speaking to the guy tomorrow from the venue.
What's his name?
Sam. Manchester Reds or the guy at the venue?
The guy at the venue.
Sam,
you sure it's a guy, not a girl?
Yeah. Looks right, venue looks nice. Got a pool table in the room that we're using and that. Looking forward to it.
Oh, FPL pool tournament. I ain't saying that shit.
No. But we have got a quiz in the second half, which is going to be good. I think it's going to be good.
Me and Suj just discussed this prospect for about 1 minute. And then Suj decided to put it in the in the event notes. Chance? It's upside, isn't it?
Ooh!
Ooh. I think he was offside, wasn't he?
He was Manchester Red. He was laughing about you said you're not talking to anyone in the game.
Oh, okay.
Fair shout. Manchester Reds, make sure you come to the FPL meetup if you can.
If you're Manchester Reds, there's not really an excuse, is there?
No, exactly.
No, he's on. He's on, unless Gosling got a touch on his way. I don't think he did. No, it's fine. Let's go. The quiz. The quiz. Yeah, so I said, I've got an idea. Let's do a quiz. Then Suj puts it in the fucking event notes with the tickets on sale.
We'll do a quiz.
Like, greatest FPL quiz of all time.
It's called the ultimate FPL quiz.
The ultimate FPL quiz. I hadn't even decided it was going to be an FPL quiz. I better make it one now, wouldn't I?
Once they bought their tickets, tough shit, isn't it?
I thought
we need to. Oh, VAR. Come on. It's like fucking 10 o'clock and I want to go home. Not that I don't love live streaming. Any updates on the merch? Merch is like at some point.
We know what we want to do. We want a t-shirt.
The quiz is going to be
epic.
Cash money available, yo.
Epic.
Are they still checking? For fuck's sake?
YouTube. This is going to go to 100 minutes. You know that. YouTube exclusive. Quiz might have a twist.
Stick or twist?
Suj doesn't even know. I'm not telling anyone.
I'm going to be in one of the teams, yo.
I'm just going to do it. I'm just going to do it on the day. Not tell anyone. Stitch everyone up. Yeah, cash prize in that quiz as well.
Yeah.
James is actually gonna make it his own money. Can't Bournemouth, you can win this. You've been good tonight.
Brian, you was asking if it's going to be an FPL quiz or random. It'll be football and FPL. It'll be a mixture of the two.
I think I was going to do it more Premier League, but it's probably going to be a mixture of both now.
Yeah, it'll be a mixture.
What I'm going to have to work out is because first half is going to be more podcasting, and the second half is like after half time of 3 o'clock games. Is basically just going to be the quiz. I need to try and work out how long it's going to take. There's no point me coming up with 40 questions and doing 45 minutes. It's not going to work, is it?
Right. Phil says, so scroll back and ask James my quiz question. Okay. And I'm going to do it.
Oh, I like a quiz question.
Okay. Oh, here we go. I found it, Phil. Just because this game's boring, we still got 3 minutes to write out.
Go on, Bournemouth.
Who is the only player to score a hat-trick in the top
Robert Earnshaw
division?
Come on, Bournemouth.
The League Cup, the FA Cup, and for their country.
I've done it.
Phil, you don't fuck with James. Simple as that.
Did you even finish the question?
Oh dear. Phil, you can't mess with James's football knowledge. I'm excited. You're going to a football quiz on Thursday.
Quick, we got about 3 minutes to go. Give me some Spurs trivia. Hit me. Someone hit me.
Anyone's got a Spurs question? What is going on here? Who is the only team to ever be promoted for losing a playoff match but have never actually won one? What does that even mean?
Oh, I tell you what it might be is it's not Swindon. It's who lost to Swindon. Oh, fuck. Swindon, was it Sunderland? No, I don't think it was Sunderland.
Why do you think of that? Who has held the FA Cup the longest? Surely it's whoever held it through the World Wars or something done like that. Because they
could be, yeah. Was it Charlton or Villa, maybe?
Someone who held it through the World Wars.
One of them won it round by the wars. Might be Charlton, actually.
Okay.
If I remember right.
Next question. Okay, Charlton. We're going. That was from Claters. Let us know if we're correct. How old was Jason Dezelle when he made his debut?
Who gives a fuck?
Okay.
I know he's
Portsmouth, 1939. It was Portsmouth.
Okay. Yeah. His son, even my dad wasn't there. He probably claimed he was there. Mm-hmm. I know his son made his debut for us when he was 16. Andre, I think his son's name is.
Spurs legend Chris Waddle and Glenn Hoddle assaulted the charts in the 1980s. What was their hit single?
Diamond Lights.
Bonus points just singing it, mate.
Oh, I can't remember how it went. It was fucking awful. Diamond Lights, I think.
Where's Patrick Dawson saying? Which country is Robbie Keane from? Republic of Ireland.
Trick question.
Republic of Ireland.
Trick question. Someone put on Wikipedia, I don't know if it's true, you know Erling Haaland's gone to Dortmund.
Yeah.
His Wikipedia page said that he was born in Leeds.
Yeah.
Have you seen it? Is it true?
Yeah. I don't know. But then I was like, Haaland, is he like the forgotten son of Alf Inge Haaland? That's how that's why for some reason he was born in England.
Oh. Is it?
I don't think so. I just randomly thought this came into my mind. Surely he'll be looking forward to meeting up with Roy Keane at some point.
It's up!
It was Roy Keane that...
Head away! You dickhead.
It was Roy Keane that crushed Inge Haaland, wasn't it?
That's the fucking worst tackle I've ever seen.
I
saw a brilliant one in...
that's why.
It's a brilliant one. Look for... I can't remember it. Argentina as a tackle in an Argentinian 4th division game or something a couple of weeks back. It's the best ever, mate. Makes Roy Keane on Haaland look like a push.
Roy Keane, dodgy as you like. Dodgy as you like.
Any more trivia?
Oh, what county is Robbie Keane from?
Oh, what the
Sorry, Patrick. I don't know.
One of the Irish ones.
Yeah. Name the Spurs player who scored in the World Cup final in 1966.
Bless his soul, Mike Peters.
Yeah.
Legend.
Yeah. A nice tribute to him, actually, when the first game after he passed away, obviously.
I don't know why I fucking crossed. But yeah, bless him. Great player. For both of us. Oh, well.
Game over.
I suppose we should go home and see the wives.
It's 10 o'clock at night. It's going to take half an hour, 20 minutes to get home once we pack up all this nonsense. Love you all. Thank you for joining us. Do stay tuned for Tottenham this week and all the other stuff that we got coming. And please, please, please push our Manchester event.
If you please. If you join the stream late, first 25 minutes were the best.
Yeah, of course. Good night, guys.
Thank you very much.
And we'll go through the comments if there's any more trivia questions. They might make their way onto
Tottenham tomorrow. This guy is brilliant.
Tune in.
I hope it comes out a good one. It should be a good one.
Is the edit finished?
Is the what?
Is the edit finished? No, you've got to do it.
I ain't even touched it.
Fair play. Cool. We love you all.
Good night, everybody.
Ciao.
Oh, don't fall over. You plumb down. Come on, you Spurs.